T, five-time WCW champion. You listen to WNS Podcast. Now, can you dig that, sucker?
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or find us on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler Abear.
Maybe like that. I'm Doug.
And we welcome you to episode 119 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS
Let's start
Podcast.
the show now.
On YouTube, WNS Podcast. And on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
And if you want to follow us on Twitter, it is at WNS Podcast. And for the main site, WN Source.
We're on tout at WNS Podcast.
And we hardly ever use it.
We don't.
But maybe one day.
Sometimes we
got a few
tout
videos
at the
on there.
devil.
Yeah. So, tout at the devil. So there you go. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Nope, not doing that.
No?
Nope.
Tout it out now.
I'll accept that one.
All right.
We'll tout a lot for a WrestleMania trip.
Yeah. That's what we'll do.
Says Mr. Tentatively scheduled Abear is like talking about all the plans.
Yeah, I'll meet you guys there. Don't worry.
I got my schooling.
So welcome to the show, everyone. Got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Raw. Got our hot topics. We're going to be joined by Booker T, now WWE Hall of Famer Booker T.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sucker!
So we can dig that. Also have our Q&A. But first, we're going to kick off the show. We normally like to do a little bit of feedback.
We got some listener feedback.
Yeah, we do. We also have,
we do.
we normally like to start the show with iTunes reviews if we get them. We don't have an iTunes review. However, we do have
an iTunes review.
Do we?
Well, we got a star rating, but
yeah,
whenever I check it, it doesn't, unless you write
Maybe it was
something.
just a star and they didn't want to write a review.
Yeah, well, whoever gave us an iTunes review that was just stars, we still appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
However, it doesn't say your name if you just give stars, so we don't know who we're thinking. We're just thinking somebody.
Thank you, iTunes listener.
It didn't bump our rating down, so we assume that you at least think we're
4 or 5.
4 or 5 stars.
So we'll take it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I also want to send a special thank you out to our buddy Ben.
The wrestling nerd?
The wrestling nerd for the shout out on his first show, Wrestling Nerd Podcast. If you want to check out the show,
YouTube.com/wrestling nerd, the wrestling nerd, I believe. No, it's youtube.com/wrestling nerd podcast without the T in the wrestling.
Yes.
It's like RWR. God, I can't talk. You do it.
You can also check it out.
Just Google it.
Just go, or you can go to our Facebook page, click on the post by others.
First, you want to make sure you like our page.
Yes, make sure you've liked our page if you have not already. Thank you for listening, and head on over to our Facebook page because that's where we like to have lots of fun.
Yeah, sure.
That's where you can connect with the audience.
Sure.
Twitter is nice and stuff, but Facebook is where we go.
There's no character limit on Facebook.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can post whatever you want, and it's okay.
It's where we bond with our listeners.
Bonding. Yeah.
Facebook.
Bondage. What? No. So, but yeah, so thank you for the show. If you want to check it out, go to our post by others on our Facebook page, Wrestling Nerd Podcast. Best of luck to you, Ben, on your show.
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out.
Yes, very much.
I was fascinated because I guess we accept that people know what we sound like, but people that we interact with, I'm like, ooh, like when people were doing like intro videos first and stuff, I was like, ooh, I wonder what this dude sounds like.
Yeah.
Now I know what Ben sounds like, and that was cool.
And it's nice to hear that.
You have a good voice, Ben. You have a good voice. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, when I'm listening back to the show, I don't like my voice at times. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like my voice either.
I like my voice. I've had it for 26 years and close to 27, and
you have a great
not
voice.
much I can do about it now. So.
Yeah. I don't like my voice either. Avery, don't worry about it. He's pretty articulate guy. Makes me feel weird because I know like I stumble on my words and I repeat myself, and then sometimes I just throw fuck in there for good measure.
Get your point across, you gotta throw fuck.
Yeah. No, but check out Ben the Wrestling Nerd Show, the Wrestling Nerd Podcast.
There you go.
And thank you for the shout out, Ben.
Yes, and there's one for you. So.
Yeah.
Go
peep his shit.
Do we want to do listener feedback?
Yeah,
from this week's show.
Yeah, we have to.
Oh, okay. Oh, we have to now.
Well, we kind of we kind of like made it a thing that we're doing, and now you want to skip over people's feedback.
No, just I don't want to feel like it's a requirement for us to do it. We do it because we like to, and we do it because it's fun, and not because we're forced to. And this is our show. We do what we want.
Well, most of the people this week agreed with me, so I want to do it.
Okay.
Or at least the people who spoke up.
Hey, go right on in.
The people who spoke up, for the most part, agreed with me, and so we're going to do it.
Do you have the balls to speak up to Doug?
Anyway, Hugh said, Doug Grant, equal awesomeness. I salute you, sir. That's cool. I'm glad that, I would hope that maybe you agree with, like, what I said, but I guess if me ranting like a lunatic does it for you, then I guess I'll take that as well.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, I guess so. Wife Swap wrote so many paragraphs. in Wife Swap, I read every word, but I don't know if we can read all Wife Swap stuff. It's super long.
Can you give us the condensed version?
He agrees with me about we spoke. I spoke a lot about the audience that everyone was in love with from last week's Raw a lot, and but I was pretty negative on them, and he agreed with most of them, saying he, I don't know how to pick a few things out of this. It was a lot. Go read our episode thread. Wife Swap knows what it's not like we're giving like Wife Swap short shrift.
Yeah.
I don't think Wife Swap. I've read every word Wife Swap. I'm sorry. I don't know that we can read it all today though. But there was a person who didn't disagree. And as far as I can tell, he's a first time commenter. So I did want to address him. I love you, Wife Swap. Don't be pissed. You just wrote a lot of shit. And I appreciate that you taking the time, and I swear I read every word. But I don't know that we can read it all. This is from, and I'm probably going to butcher your name, and I honestly apologize. I believe it's AKM. I believe it's Occam. Would you go with that?
AKM?
AKM.
Sure.
Anyway, he says...
Last name any better?
Ramen.
Okay, there you go. Mr. Ramen.
Mr. Ramen. Dude, I'm sorry if I fucked up your name. I'm just a dumb guy from Texas. I don't know how to say shit. Anyway, he says, Doug, as much as I hate to say it, you, sir, are 100% wrong on that crowd. They represented every single wrestling fan out there tired of these boring 30-minute matches and subpar programs that the WWE put together, because there is no competition for their product. If every crowd was as vocal as they were, we would see better matches and programs. And to your point about not buying tickets to the show, if we don't buy tickets, someone else will, and we will continue to get the force-fed the garbage that the WWE put out there 90% of the time. For example, the episode of Raw going on right now, the crowd is dead and are just responding to the normal pop moments and seem completely uninterested in the product. But other than that, I usually agree with you, because you, sir, are the Daniel Bryan of wrestling podcast. I didn't make that up, I swear.
It's there in print.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan of podcasts.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Yeah. I don't know that I would feel that I would be worthy of such a title, but I appreciate it, Occam. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep saying Occam, even though I'm fucking up your name. I apologize if I do. But man, I really don't agree. I don't think that just because you don't buy a ticket, someone else is gonna buy a ticket. I don't think that's I just don't think that's how the world works. And I think, like, honestly, if you really want your voice heard, you really do vote with your dollar. I think that's the bottom line. That's the only thing any company understands, is voting with your dollar, because that's what a company is there to do, make money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess he's just responding to mine. I guess I don't need to do the whole lunatic rant over again.
Yeah.
But
I do appreciate the feedback instead of just people saying, "Hey, you're wrong, Doug."
Yeah. No, I have no problem with anybody disagreeing with me. I'm glad to hear your point of view. I do disagree, but hey, that's cool. Thanks for at least listening.
Yeah.
And giving your reason, what you feel.
Yeah, we're totally fine with people saying we're wrong. Just don't be like,
"You're wrong. That's stupid."
Yeah.
Without any,
and that'd be it.
Yeah.
But thank you, Occam, for weighing in. We appreciate it. I think it's the first time we heard from him, and very cool. We hope to hear from you more in the future. Wife Swap, I'm sorry, dude. You wrote like 80,000 paragraphs. I'm sorry.
I read it also. Just want to let you know. So.
I want to know how he would write a book.
Weishaupt?
Yeah, I think he did pretty good.
Yeah, he wrote a lot, and it was all supporting my points, so I certainly appreciate it.
So naturally, you appreciated it.
Yeah,
I loved it. So, but thank you everyone for the feedback. It's always nice to hear back from our fans on what they think on the topics we bring up. So, going on right on into Raw, kick things off. Get right into the action. Orton and Sheamus team up to go up against the Big Show. And I feel like this should have been the match that occurred last week. However, it was not to be. They tried to switch it all up on you. The crowd was hot for all parties involved. They gave a nice reaction. Throughout most of the night, they kind of just faded away, I felt. But this particular match, they seemed to be pretty hot for.
I'm sorry, but what was the finish for this match, or how did it?
It was Sheamus giving Big Show the brogue kick, and then Orton delivering.
Into RKO. Okay.
Yeah. So giving them the victory. But what did you think about the matchup, Doug? Because I don't really. I hate whenever we delay the shows because my memory is like so bad. I can't remember everything that happened.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, dudes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to delay for you guys. It just so happened this week it was my fault. I'm sorry.
No.
I would delay it for both y'all.
His schedule's the same this week.
For mine as well. Yeah.
Whatever.
And for our interview.
Yeah.
So, time constraints and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean,
I wasn't trying to take a shot at you.
I'm totally taking a shot.
I'm taking a shot at my memory.
Taking a shot at me, bro.
If my memory were better, then we wouldn't have this issue.
Mine's pretty shoddy right now. Dude, I put about 22 hours into work the past 2 days, so I don't know what I remember.
Yeah.
I do, however, remember not liking this at all. This doesn't work for me at all. This angle doesn't work for me at all. I am of the opinion that I never want to see handicap matches where the faces have the numbers in their favor.
Yeah.
You're pretty much bullying the heel, who's already been like presented as the most sympathetic guy in the angle, even though he's supposed to be the heel. Like, you want your baby faces to work from beneath and fight up against the odds and prevail. You don't want them bullying the heel and having the numbers. That doesn't make any sense to me. Not only does it not make it not just the setup not making any sense to me, but they didn't even follow. They blatantly cheated. They didn't even follow the rules of the match. This wasn't like a tornado handicap match where both guys were legal. They were tagging in and out. Sheamus hit the brogue kick, then dove out of the ring when he was not the legal man as to not be seen by the ref. And then Orton hits the RKO. And this is arguably your number 2 and your number 3 babyface in the company cheating their ass off. Not only, they're not just cheating their ass off, they have the numbers advantage and they're cheating their ass off. You cannot make your heel any more sympathetic in this situation. and I'm sorry, Tyler, I'm going to quit cutting you off in just a second, but last week, I want to say it was on SmackDown, Big Show cut this promo that was so fucking sympathetic. It looked like I want to say it was SmackDown of last week, where he was almost in tears. He came off really sincere about how he really tried to give this a go, and they just wouldn't give him a chance to, like, and it's all the fucking truth.
Is it crazy? Like, I every time we talk about this, what do I always say? These days, the faces get away with that shit, and it's all right. It's all right with the crowd and all that stuff.
It's justified.
But it just feels like, it is opposite, because what you said with Big Show
But I don't understand why you would want to cheer guys who have a numbers advantage or taking advantage of a numbers advantage. Not even just that, but cheating even so while doing that.
I think
how do you get you can get behind a guy who's fighting against the odds and overcoming things?
Well, maybe the kids think that, this guy's just a bad guy, even if they do something that's a little bad. At least that bad guy got his.
Comeuppance doesn't even apply here because they're the ones who were a dick the whole angle. Damn, like
they've secretly done a double switch, and we just haven't caught on yet.
Yeah, unless the goal of this angle is to turn showface and Sheamus and Orton heel, then you're not executing properly.
And then Mark Henry comes in for no apparent reason, Yeah,
well, obviously they're not gonna turn Sheamus heel because they've got the Henry stuff lingering.
It's gonna be Orton face and Big Show of it.
Well, there's the heavily rumored Orton heel turn that may or may not be
That's
coming.
been going on for like a year.
But still, I mean, like, this is your number 2 and I say arguably, but I don't see how it is arguably. This is your number 2 and your number 3 face in the company being dickheads.
And they have been. It's not. Oh, it was an off night. They've been doing this for weeks leading up to Mania.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know if they're just going to keep Orton and Sheamus as a tag team or something or what. But I don't know what these guys are thinking. But all you just got to do is. So Orton and Sheamus end up picking the victory up, and big whoop, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know why continue the feud from here if they've already gotten the victory.
Well, they won't continue, I guess, with Sheamus.
Yeah. Well, no, because there's rumors that.
SmackDown spoilers say they team again on SmackDown.
Yeah. So. I haven't read it. There you go. So next up, we got to see 3MB come out and decide that they want to call out the Shield because 3MB was going to attack Triple H. The Shield came down on SmackDown and attacked 3MB instead. And so 3MB decides to call out the Shield, and instead they get Brock Lesnar, who comes out and manhandles them, destroys them, and delivers the F5 to Heath Slater on the barricade.
Rips their hearts out and eats them.
Yeah, just about.
This is everything I love about Brock Lesnar. You can watch this segment and understand why I love Brock Lesnar's current run. It was awesome. How can you watch that and not love that? I don't know. But I
like the times where he'll come out, and it has to do at times with the situation, like whoever he's fighting somehow, I guess. But he'll come out to when people were talking like we did with the Miz and all that stuff, and other people, and just beat him up. I like that.
Yeah. Well, he does what he's supposed to do. He comes out,
being a monster.
Yeah, destroys stuff.
Yeah, I like that. Because I was iffy, because I was really thinking that the Shield wasn't come out. I was like, this is going to be different.
Weird.
Hill team calling out another.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, but Brock was just like pitch perfect this whole segment. It was awesome, every bit of it. He beat the unborn babies out of those dudes. I don't know, but yeah, man, but like this is again a perfect example of like, I know we talked about this in the past about how we're totally fine with Brock being part-time because when he is on camera, he is amazing.
He's impactful.
But I don't know, man. I don't know how you watch that and don't enjoy it. Like, I just don't.
And then Paul Heyman comes out to calm Lesnar down for the most part, gets on the mic and, sells you on Extreme Rules. I mean, this guy could sell you just about anything if he tried to, because the things that he can say, the way that he words his promos are just outstanding. And at first I thought whenever they were referring to the steel cage, because they delivered a challenge to Triple H for Extreme Rules, and it's going to be a steel cage match. The way that he was wording it, I originally thought it was going to be the blue barred cage match.
You said old-fashioned?
Yeah, I said old-fashioned, brutal cage match. And so I was like, oh, man, I wonder if they're going to be bringing back that type of steel cage.
I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't either, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. But anyways, what were your thoughts on Heyman's promo for Triple H?
I thought it was pretty good. Me, personally, I don't know if I really want to see again Triple H and Brock Lesnar. But he did, sell it the best he can, and I liked, how he was saying all that stuff. So,
and that's the thing I like about Heyman, because he'll come in and he'll have, two people that you don't want to see fight again, and he will sell it to a way that you're like, I'm ready for this match. Let's get this thing going. So, major props to him. What about you, Doug?
Yeah, Heyman's great. What is there to say? He's great.
What have we not said in the past that, doesn't apply here? So, Heyman just being absolutely great on the mic to challenge Triple H to a steel cage match at Extreme Rules. Next up, we got to see Kofi Kingston going up against Antonio Cesaro for the United States Championship. And the reason this matchup was for the U.S. Championship was because on SmackDown, Kofi ended up defeating Cesaro on in a non-title matchup.
We called it like when it came out when they had that match, and I was like, Kofi's getting it.
Yeah, and
that's how I felt.
Yeah,
But,
and Cesaro, took Kofi to a pretty solid matchup. They had a couple miscommunications, but other than that, it was a pretty solid matchup for TV, and Kofi ends up getting the victory to defeat Antonio Cesaro, become the new United States champion.
You said to me that he's the longest.
Cesaro was the.
Where did you get this, or how did you?
It was like the longest current reigning, like out of all the champions, like tag team and intercontinental. Yeah, he was the longest, but he was not the longest of all time. What I was referring to is longest current champion. But yeah, so Cesaro falls to Kofi.
I didn't mind him dropping a Kofi. And, maybe this will help as long as they, eventually, kind of soon elevate him.
Yeah, and this would be a good time for him to possibly do it now that Punk has taken on sort of a leave of absence, and after Ryback with Cena, you'll need a possible next threat for the title. I think Cesaro could possibly be a good fit if they did it right, but you know how they are as far as the writers go. But Doug, what were your thoughts about your boy Kofi defeating Antonio Cesaro?
No, this was a really good match. Cesaro made him look like $1 million, which in my opinion is kind of hard to do. But yeah, it was a really good match. I'm fine with him dropping the title, like you guys said, if they are going to elevate him. I think he's a pretty complete package guy. I mean, there are a lot of people, like, I haven't personally read it, and, I'm a pretty busy guy. I got a lot of work and other responsibilities going on, so maybe I missed it. I heard a lot of people saying that Vince isn't high on the guy, and that's why he's dropping the belt, because they didn't want him to have a lengthy reign when he's not high or whatever. I don't see it. I don't see how you're not high on the guy. I know some people were complaining about the yodeling thing, like, introduced into the gimmick.
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with it, and let me tell you why. Because people don't think yodeling is cool. They think it's stupid, and he's a heel. So if you have a reason to not like him, if you have a reason to boo him, if he's doing
even
something...
more reason.
If he's doing something that irritates you and you boo him, then that's the desired reaction. So I'm fine with that. I'm tired of cool heels. I'm tired of heels with, like...
Yeah, I'm bad.
They have, like, characteristics that make people want to cheer. That's not their job.
It's like, oh my God, stop the yodeling. Please stop.
Yeah, I'm fine. If the yodeling really is actually irritating people and people are turned off by it, that makes me like it even more.
And to what you said about McMahon possibly not being high on him,
I don't see how.
I don't either. And I would definitely disagree on that, just because of
that's
how JBL and the other commentators will put him over, saying he is a throwback. He is hard hitting. He is in your face. He's going places. Otherwise, if it were the other way around, where they weren't high on him, they probably wouldn't be talking about him that much.
Well, I mean, like I said, this is me hearing people talking about. Like I said, like I never read that or heard that. The last I heard and read, Vince was high on the guy, and I can only choose. I mean, I only can see that side of it. I think he's the very best in-ring guy in the company all year. At least on a consistency basis. I mean, he doesn't have the opportunity of like a Punk to go have high-profile matches with 20-minute time lengths. He doesn't have that luxury. But every week he makes people who may not even have the right to look good.
Yeah.
And
for the time that he's given, he goes out and puts on a great show.
Right. Yeah. I can't honestly. I mean,
I hope he's at the Beaumont show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Heck yeah.
That'd be nice to see. Even if he loses, I'd still want to see how he does.
I mean, we haven't seen him live since what, 2009? Be good to see him live again.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. But yeah, so Kofi Kingston, your new United States champion. Next up, we got to see Dolph Ziggler come out and cut a promo about how he's now the champion. It was good to see that they gave him some mic time, because I felt like that was really something that they weren't really giving him as far as in the ring. Like, he had a lot of backstage promos and stuff like that, but I don't feel like he had enough in the ring, cut a promo in front of the crowd type moments. And I was glad that they at least gave him that so that he can, show the world what he's got. But he was interrupted by Jack Swagger, and then later on Del Rio. So that they ended up putting Del Rio Del Rio came out first, saying that he wanted his rematch right then and there.
Right.
So they decided to put him in a match. Swagger comes out, attacks Del Rio, keeps him from participating, which later on led to Swagger getting a chance against Ziggler, thanks to Teddy Long.
Teddy Long.
Take care of your business. So yeah, I mean, we got to see, all of this happen. What were you guys' thoughts on the transition that happened, I guess? Nothing? Yeah.
Man, I don't think we're gonna get a real feel for what Ziggler as a champion is until this situation is resolved.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's too much. Like, obviously, they've announced they're doing triple threat at the pay-per-view.
Right.
So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I still haven't seen enough of Champ Ziggler. Fine with him having it.
Because he lost to Jericho on SmackDown, and then later on Raw he lost to Swagger. So, I mean, I know they're gonna
Swagger. He lost by interference. Like, Del Rio interfered.
Right. But and that's mostly to give Swagger some credibility, saying, "Oh, I pinned him. I deserve a title shot." But,
right.
But yeah, so but we'll talk about that a little bit.
I mean, were you
later
getting at, like, you're feeling like he's not a credible champ because they're jobbing him so soon, so many times so soon? I mean, Ziggler is going to be a chicken shit hill if there is ever a chicken shit hill. He's not going to be a dominant guy. Like, that's not who he is.
Right. He's going to be the one who manages to find a way to win thanks to AJ or Big E or whatever, whatever reason.
He got his title. If you're a fan of his, you should be happy with that.
Yeah, and I am, and
he's still gonna put on the same matches that he puts on.
Right.
He's an Edge. He's not I don't know what the opposite of Edge. Someone who wins cleanly,
Right. But, like, you think about it, you're like, man, they just gave him the belt. Now he's lost 2 matches in a row. But then you also have to
title.
Well, yeah, that's where I was going. It's like, but he hasn't lost the belt yet. So they're gonna, he'll lose a couple matches here and there, and then when it comes down to it, when the pressure is cooking or whatever, that's when he'll pull out the victory and stay champion. So it's like, man, we beat him on SmackDown and beat him on Raw, but we couldn't beat him when it counted. So for those Ziggler fans, I would say probably don't worry for the moment, at least. I would expect maybe a 2 or 3 month title reign at least. So maybe even up to SummerSlam, or maybe like the pay-per-view before that.
But, I mean, fanboys are gonna bitch. I mean, we bitch.
Yeah.
We bitch. I mean,
everyone's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Can't please everybody.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah. So next up, we got to see Team Hell No going up against the Primetime Players. This one ended very cleanly. Team Hell No defeating Primetime Players.
Holy shit! Next week on Raw.
Man.
That's gonna be crazy.
Daniel, can you wrap your mind around this? Next week on Raw, Daniel Bryan will be in a team with The Undertaker versus The Shield, which is a mind fuck.
Yeah.
But it's totally awesome.
Who do you think goes over on that?
I don't know.
Don't know. Not too soon to predict.
No, I just haven't. I
haven't
had the time to give it any thought.
Pay-per-view.
I thought this was gonna end. This matchup was gonna end up on Extreme Rules.
Well, hell, I mean, Taker's working a match on Raw. Who's to say he's not gonna work up at another pay-per-view match?
Yeah. Well, I think the
I'll probably have him at the tag match.
Yeah, I think the rumor is going
Tag
around
match
that
player.
right now. Holla holla. So yeah, but Team Hell No ends up defeating Primetime Players. Anything to really take away from that match?
Not really.
No.
I still
players should be the tag team champions.
All right.
Primetime Players should get whoever made their shirts to take all the stupid sayings off the back, and then I would buy the one.
Know
Because
your worth.
I like the logo on the front. I just don't like the back.
Know your worth. Millions of dollars.
Just put millions of dollars on the shirt. That's what they say.
So there you
Just
go.
like the Shield shirt says justice isn't free. Put believe in the Shield. That's the fucking what they say. God damn. Not rocket science, people. Daniel Bryan says no and yes. They put no and yes on his shirt. It works.
He doesn't say stop it.
Yeah. Oh, well, he doesn't. That's You're right. You got me there.
So they could take that
That's
off
what
of
they
his
do with the
shirt.
shirts now these days. They put something that's not.
Don't put a hashtag on your fucking t-shirt. Don't put something they don't even say. Don't make up some dumb saying to put on the shirt. I hate that.
Welcome to the Shield of Justice. Believe in the Shield. So there you go. Next up, we got to see a video package from Ryback explaining his attack on John Cena. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely loved this promo just because, you know, it justified Ryback and the reasons why he attacked Cena. It gave him, you know, credible reason for doing what he did. You know, basically saying, you know, I was there for you when the Shield attacked you, but where were you whenever they were attacking me? Were you off, you know, making a new T-shirt? Were you?
It makes sense.
It does, and you know, I liked the package that they put together for it at least.
One thing he did not mention is the time John Cena went to
Cut in
Cracker
front of
Barrel.
him in the buffet line? Is that what you're going to say? No, I don't know. Sorry.
John Cena went to Cracker Barrel without him.
Oh man, you know I like go Cracker Barrel. So
Yep.
what
Hey,
it do?
hey, Ryback's going to be here in Beaumont. We should meet him at Cracker Barrel.
Hey, Tex Lone Star likes him some Cracker Barrel too. Maybe.
That's right.
Oh, that's even more of like a colossal meeting than Jazzy and Tex Lone Star. Yeah, but okay, like yeah, I can see where you guys are coming from. Technically, it makes sense, but the presentation was so manufactured. It just screamed to me that, all right, you guys, go through all the footage and find a fucking ironclad reason why he should hate him, you know, because it was like too meticulous. It was almost like devoid of emotion, you know. It was like, and they didn't even trust them enough to put him in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
How many takes do you think that took? You know,
Especially the part where he's looking down at they cut back to him looking at the screen and then he looks back up.
yeah. How many takes do you think that took? But yeah, like okay, I get it. Like you guys are right. I agree. It makes sense, but it felt so manufactured. It was like they like, you 6 interns, come over here. Find a fucking deadlock reason why he hates this guy. Go over all this footage, show the footage. I don't care what you have to do. Make this feed work is what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
You know? Yes, technically it makes sense, but it felt so forced. It was like no emotion in it all.
Well,
like it was too many cold hard facts and too little emotion. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
isn't most of when he does promos, it sounds like it's forced?
he's not a good talker. Which is why he didn't cut that promo in front of a live crowd.
Time.
Yeah, but
Let him talk about something he really loves, like food.
if you're gonna do, he's got to work the food gimmick all the way through. Come on, man, you can't just.
What I'm going to do to you, John Cena, is cut you like I would a steak. A big, juicy steak. And then I'm going to mash you like potatoes.
Yeah, it just felt so clinical and
You're going to be creamed
and cold,
like corn.
tossed like a salad.
Out of the ring.
I'm gonna steam your ass like broccoli.
And I'm going to string you up like beans.
String bean? No? Okay.
Feed me more. I'm hungry.
Don't expect me to pop for your string bean. I went with tossed salad, and you
Yeah.
rolled your eyes.
I didn't roll my eyes.
Toss you like a salad, bitch.
Yeah. Where's that
yeah,
soap,
but
boy?
yeah, okay.
I'm
so
serious about him being a Cracker Barrel. Winkles.
Yeah. Okay.
oh, we should
Well,
camp out at Cracker Barrel. No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. Technically, we'll play this part of our show for him. Have it on the
Yeah.
iPod queued
Yeah.
up.
We had it. We were ready for you like months ago.
Yeah, no, but yeah, okay, yeah, it makes sense, but it felt like so clinical and cold, and I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't love it.
Beat you down like beats. Okay. Did you see the his Twitter postings that?
I read something that said he made his first whatever, and then
Yeah, had to clean it up a little bit because he was because he made the mention of, oh, Cena, you said the comment you made about what's between my legs, your ex-wife seemed to enjoy or something like that. So, needless to say, that's been taken down. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryback doesn't do too well after Extreme Rules. I don't know. Just, you don't mess with the corporate boy.
I don't know. I think he'll be all right.
Feeding time is now. So, yeah, next up we got to see R-Truth going up against Wade Barrett. R-Truth picks up the win. So, let's recap what's happened since Mania. Wade Barrett loses the title. Next night on Raw, gains it back. Next week, loses to R-Truth. Where are they going with Wade Barrett?
Well, there is no consistency to Wade Barrett at all because some weeks they play up how of a bare knuckle brawler he is. Sometimes, some weeks he comes out with a jacket and is really elegant. You know, like it's just like whatever they feel like. That week.
Like that time where he was with Bo Dallas. They dropped that, and Sheamus and
Miz.
I don't know. What are you looking at me
Kofi.
for? I can't make sense of that.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. Poor Wade Barrett. Anyways, R-Truth.
At least there's a title, right?
R-Truth gets the victory, which means we're probably going to see an Intercontinental Championship match between R-Truth and Wade Barrett soon, but who knows. Next up, we got to see the Rhodes Scholars going up against Santino and the Great Khali.
I don't know. It just doesn't. I have no clue what they're doing with these guys.
Wait, which guys?
Rhodes Scholars.
Rhodes Scholars.
Well, Santino and Khali was just someone they threw in there.
Yeah. So.
Hey, you watch your fucking mouth when it comes to Santino. That's my point.
So, but what did y'all guys think about this? Because Rhodes Scholars ended up getting the victory. Not really.
It was fine. I mean, what do you want?
I don't know. I don't even know. So next up, we got to see Jerry the King Lawler.
You don't know what you want, but you're going to criticize.
I want them to do. I mean, okay.
Cracker Barrel.
I guess this goes back to, I think a while back that Doug said something that, what was that for WrestleMania? Or, I don't know, something about like, because I would complain that I want the Rhodes Scholars to do something else, or because they did break them up, put them back together, and now they're not doing anything.
Well, there's so many spots on the card. I mean, like, what are you going to do with them?
I don't know. But I thought they were trying to do a, what's it called, solo run, Damian Sandow.
I guess they decided it wasn't time. So they said, well, we'll just put you guys back together. It'll be fine. No one will be the wiser.
I mean, I like them together.
Yeah.
And nothing bad about that, you know?
Who knows? We'll see where they go from there. But next up, we got to see Jerry the King Lawler introduce Fandango and all the popularity that happened over the course of the week with his theme song going on the iTunes charts. And
it felt weird. This whole thing felt weird to
yeah,
me.
this segment did feel very, very strange.
Because they were trying to play off of last week or all that stuff.
Fandangoing.
Plays to the crowd and kind of was disrespectful to him or something.
Told him to go Fandango themselves.
I don't know, but the way he said all this stuff, he said all this stuff, it just sounded weird to me.
They just had him acknowledge it, but they weren't gonna make him like turn face over it.
Yeah,
I mean, he had to still be a heel, but it was kind of like an acknowledgement of what happened. You know?
Yeah, just because of the popularity that ensued. You know, people were Fandangoing all over the country, all over the world. Actually, you know, it was played in nightclubs. It was played at soccer stadiums.
Have you guys heard that like remixed version that has like him talking and stuff in it?
Nuh-uh. But but you know,
I don't care that much.
It's one of those things where it's not the wrestler that the people are supporting. It's the theme song that they find catchy. Yeah. You know, it's, you know, so all these people were like, oh, we're Fandangoing. It's like, well, no, you're just, you know, you're moving your hands up and down and you're dancing to a catchy song. It has nothing to do with the wrestler. The fans aren't chanting Fandango. They're singing the song, you know, so.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's that catchy.
Yeah. I mean, it's an okay song. I mean, a lot of people would compare it to the I Dream of Jeannie theme song.
I like the Brodus Clay song. I find that the Brodus Clay song is more catchier than the Fandango. That's just me, though.
Ernest the Cat Miller. So yeah. So he comes out and acknowledges it and says, well, you're not saying my name right, so bye.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
Toodles.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Are you guys telling me that crowd did not make Fandango last week? Surely you're not.
They didn't make Fandango. They made his theme song. You can't really.
I give you that.
It got to I believe number 8 on the iTunes in the UK. It was number 3 on the soundtrack in the US. But
I don't give a fuck.
Michael Cole
about,
liked to
I don't give a fuck
forget
about
that
iTunes
part.
ranking. Okay, I care about our iTunes rankings.
I
I was so about to be like,
Our
yeah, iTunes rankings don't mean shit. Before I shill for people to go like,
5-star ratings.
Yeah.
Leave us a nice little comment. We certainly do appreciate it. Come on, dog.
you're right. You've totally convinced me. I've seen the error of my ways. iTunes and rankings are important. Please go give us 5 stars. Write us some kind words. Appreciate it.
Greatly appreciated. We'll say thank you on the show for it. So there you go. Next up, we got to see Jack Swagger defeat Dolph Ziggler. And like I said, it gives Swagger credibility for the upcoming, triple threat match. So if people wonder, why is he in this matchup? Well, there you go. He has credibility for it now.
Plus the Del Rio armbar off the stage is not that dangerous, but is a great visual while being completely safe. So yeah, that was cool.
And had it been the old stage where they're like, maybe 8 feet in the air, I would have.
Swagger's a tall dude.
Well, that too. Yeah.
His feet would have been touching still.
Yeah, he would have been okay. But still, it looks so devastating. So Del Rio's going for the arm, Swagger's going for the leg.
That's what I'm saying. It looks really good, even though it's totally safe.
Yeah. So next up, we got to see Mark Henry attack Sheamus backstage again. It happened on SmackDown as well. Mark Henry's just, that's what I do. So going into the main event for Raw, or was there
I
any?
saw That's What I Do sign in the crowd. I was pretty excited about it.
Nice, very cool.
What he does.
It is what he does. So time for the main event, which we got to see Nikki Bella defeat Caitlyn after using the twin magic.
We gotta get Mark on the show.
That'd be awesome.
Oh,
We gotta do it. We should
Push into that?
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
look into that.
freaking cool.
We'll see what we
man.
can do. We'll see what I can do. See if we can work some magic, like the Bellas who do twin magic.
I see what you did there.
So, yeah, for like the 3rd or 4th week this year, we've seen a Divas match be the main event or the final matchup.
It.
I don't either. I just find it odd, because like, remember whenever they made like a big deal out of the Trish and Lita being the main event, and
Maybe they're trying to change things up. I don't know if it would help them, but they're
giving the crowd a cool down moment for the last thing that happened on the show.
Yeah, and the final thing for the show was the Cena Ryback confrontation, where Cena's saying, "Hey man, you had your chances to pick your spots. I asked for someone to come out and challenge me last week, and you didn't do it.
No balls.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you're missing a brain, missing your balls. What are you gonna do about it? You want to?
Oh come on, Cena was totally fine in this.
He was. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said it very dismissingly.
Yeah. He had some intensity to him, and it was a good promo. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes he acts a little too goofy.
You mean Cena?
I thought he was totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it was fun, but I know what you're talking about. The times where he doesn't take the other person serious. And
It's like
I didn't get that feel from him this time.
Yeah, I feel like he should take Ryback a little more seriously, even though he's like, dude, I'm the. He basically looked him in the eye.
He didn't joke at him.
Well, he looked him in the eye and was like, "Do you know who you're talking to?" Like, that's kind of the feel that I got for it. He was like, "Dude, you're talking to the champ, okay? You had your spot and you didn't pick it."
See, you're giving it to Cena from both ends, and he can't win with people. It's like you're too goofy, or you got too much bravado about you, or you're too goofy. He can't fucking win.
No, he can't. Oh well, but like I said, it was an okay promo for me, but we got to see a nice little production mistake.
I'm not saying it was great, but it was totally fine.
Yeah,
I was fine with it.
Okay, but yeah, during that we did get to see a nice little production mistake with getting to see the Shield hiding backstage or back behind the curtain. And then during the promo, JBL and King tried to play it off. Like, oh, did you see what I saw? Oh, yeah, that could only mean one thing. And sure enough, the Shield comes down, and they decided to attack Cena after Ryback exited the ring. And, the Shield kind of gave him the looks like, what do we do about this guy? Is he going to give us trouble? And, he didn't. So they jumped Cena and beat him down. And Ryback just stood there and watched and then decided to walk off. Saying, well, now you know how it feels.
He knows how it feels. That's the time that you went to Cracker Barrel with that.
It's a Cracker Barrel.
Man of conviction, eh?
Yeah. So, not necessarily the promo, but what did you think about the way that they tried to play off the Shield being backstage? Like, obviously, because it took a while for them to try and cover for it.
It's a live show.
Yeah.
I mean,
mistakes happen, which is
technical errors are going to happen occasionally. They had to. I mean, I guess they felt like they had to. You either acknowledge it or you don't.
Yeah.
And they chose to acknowledge it, and that's. I mean, it's a live show. It's not like you can say, "Okay, pause. Now this is how we're going to cover it." They did it on the fly the best they could.
Yeah. I wonder who got yelled at for that one, but all in all, Raw was okay. I don't think it was great, but it wasn't terrible. So that's pretty much how we close that out. What overall thoughts on it? Building towards Extreme Rules.
I thought it was fine. I mean,
they're putting pieces of the puzzle together for it.
People seem so uninterested in the majority of what's going on. I still think there are a lot of things to get excited about.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're so uninterested, I don't get that.
Okay. So there you go, guys. Now it's time for a little break.
You're listening to a special interview segment for the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com.
Okay, folks, joining us on the phone this week, we've had him on before, and it's always nice to have him back again. This time he's added 2 prestigious things you can put on a resume. He is the general manager of SmackDown and recent Hall of Fame inductee for the WWE, the one and only Booker T. Booker T, welcome back to the show.
Hey, man, what's going on, man? Glad to be back.
We certainly do appreciate it. For all of your Booker T information, go to youtube.com/Booker T ROW. You can follow him on Twitter at Booker T5X. Also, Facebook.com/Booker T Reality of Wrestling. And first off, we want to say a special congratulations on becoming a Hall of Famer. It's a really big honor for a wrestler to get in through the business and get to that prestigious honor. Could you kind of take us through the emotions that you got when you first got the call about asking to be in, all the way leading up to your Hall of Fame speech?
Really, man, the call was unexpected. Something I, totally was not thinking about at that time. With me, it's always just about doing the work. Hall of Fame was something I thought was far, far away, man, many years down the road for me. But getting the call was like, wow, overwhelming, overjoyed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Glad that the hard work had paid off, of course, 22 years in the business and still relatively, in pretty good shape, and, to get the call to go into the Hall of Fame was a great call. It was a bittersweet moment at the same time, but I took my walk into immortality, and I'm loving every bit of it.
Absolutely.
It's very cool to see Stevie Ray up there with you as well.
Yeah.
That was the best part. My brother and I, people haven't, the fans haven't seen us on stage together since '99, perhaps, maybe 2000, but it's been a long time since the people actually got a chance to see Harlem Heat back on stage. People have always asked for a Harlem Heat reunion. When are we going to see a Harlem Heat reunion? So the fans finally got a chance to, somewhat see that Harlem Heat reunion. 2 brothers, started at the bottom of WCW to go all the way to the top of WCW, to now to find one brother in the Hall of Fame, and I'm sure my brother's going to find his way in there as well. Harlem Heat, I'm sure to be inducted sooner or later.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, you said how you're still in pretty good shape. Do you think we'll ever see you compete in a WWE ring again? Like even if it's a part-time feud, or do you feel like you're done with that aspect of wrestling?
I'm really trying to put wrestling behind me. Wrestling has been good to me. It's been my sole provider as far as taking care of my family for 20 years, and I love the business. I love what it stands for, But on the other hand, it comes a time when you got to take a step aside and let the guys, the young guys, take their place and achieve their greatness, for Hall of Fame status, to go out there and go around the world, take all those bumps, those sleepless nights, it's time to give those guys a chance to do that, I feel like a war veteran that went through the war, been through the trenches, and, started out as a private, now I'm a general, and now I can sit back in the Oval Office and just watch it on a little monitor.
Very cool. In the past, we've heard you speak, extremely highly of the late Mr. Paul Bosch, and even the last time we spoke to you, you mentioned him as like a great inspiration for what you're trying to do now with the reality of wrestling and bringing that prominence of wrestling back to the Houston area. Is Mr. Bosch, somebody that you would like to see get in the Hall of Fame with you, and or maybe even someone that you'd be lobbying for to join you in the Hall of Fame?
Definitely. Paul Bosch may not be in the Hall of Fame, but he's in the Hall of Fame. He'll always be a Hall of Famer to so many people. So I don't think just that title is what make the person who he really is. So Paul is the angel on my shoulder. I talk about Paul all the time. He's a constant reminder for me to go out there and do well. Just talking about Paul about an hour ago, actually, and he's the guy who keeps me, focused as far as what my goal is. My goal is to bring wrestling back to the Houston area, bring wrestling back to the young guys that want to do it and want to perform and want to be that on that big stage one day, and be in a WWE ring, be on a WrestleMania one day, and if I can give them that platform, to jump off of, to just to have that little springboard. That's what I'm going to do. If I can become a territory for Texas again, and take that show on the road, and give the people that same thing Paul Bosch gave so many people. That's what I want to do. And then, like I said, just lead these guys to the next step of their careers, and hopefully it's the big time.
Yeah, and you certainly seem to be, grooming some of your future prospects, I guess, for that next leap, because, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about the positive energy that's backstage. Everyone's getting along well. They just want to go out there and put on a great show. We had you on about this time last year to discuss the changing from PWA to reality of wrestling. We've even gotten to attend a few shows. How would you say that this first year has gone for the company, and what's in store for this coming year and the years to come?
I tell you, it's been going upward, and that's what's been good about it. We started out show one; it was a rocky show. The audio was bad, the technical was bad. A lot of the camera angles was bad. But you got to start somewhere. You got to start at the bottom to go anywhere in this lifetime, and I've realized that, starting, at the bottom of WCW and, like I say, closing the company down. But the thing is, with ROW, we felt like it was time for a change, and the change was something really, really good. Like I say, putting the show on the internet, letting people actually get a chance to see what we're doing. Like you say, letting these guys get a chance to be seen worldwide now and hopefully get discovered. That's how I got discovered, by somebody seeing me and saying, hey, man, this guy's pretty good. How can I get in touch with him? Booker T. Okay, now guys have a way to get into the business. For so many years, guys wondered, how can I get into the business? So with ROW, it's been a great springboard. Right now we're at show 30. Show 30 was totally off the hook. I mean, my kids, they went out there and they totally rocked it. I was so proud of, my guys going out there and bringing the show up to another level. The fans totally came out to what we, last show, it was a standing room. We ran out of chairs, actually, for the fans, so we see it growing on a monthly basis. And now, now we're going to be working with Lucha USA, and that's going to be good. To finally start work with some of the Mexican stars. Hopefully, we can get some of those guys to the next level. Change their mindset as far as the way they go out there and work. Get them into the my wrestling facility over here in Houston, and get them to the next level as well. So right now it's just about creating and trying to do as much as possibly can, like I say, for the next generation.
Very cool. We mentioned grooming some of your current wrestlers. Have any of the guys backstage in the WWE come to you and ask for advice? Like, do you feel like you've become sort of a mentor for any of those?
Oh man, yeah, of course. I talked to all of the young guys. Like I say, Sheamus, actually Fandango. He's one of my guys who I really want to see succeed. And tell these guys exactly what they need to go out there and do from an entertainment perspective. I'm a huge fan of these guys, the Zigglers. Make sure I tell that guy to go out there and be a little bit more selfish. You're a little too unselfish, and you go out there and make everybody else look good. I need you to go out there and make yourself look a little bit better than you do sometimes. So it's just a matter of being that mentor, being the guy that these guys know that they look at me and say, well, man, it's not about him anymore, and he's willing to help us get to that next level. It's not about how many cheers he can get, and for them to see that is really, really cool. They garner a certain respect for me as well when they can see that I'm willing to pass the torch to them and let them run and be free and take it as far as you can take it. Because I've done it all. I've seen every form and facet in this business. There's nothing else that I really think that I can see that's going to surprise me. So it's not about me anymore. It's about the youth of the business.
You got to keep your eye on Teddy Long, though. He may surprise you. I see some fishiness going on with Mr. Long.
Well, Teddy Long he better not have a heart attack. You know what I mean? He better make sure he's taking his, Lipitor or whatever they call it. Make sure he's gonna be around here for a minute. But ain't worried about Teddy. Teddy's been around a long time. He's a shrewd and crude. He knows the business. Of course, I know I got to watch him. You got to keep your enemies close, but you got to keep your friends a little bit closer, and that's what I'm doing with Teddy Long.
Tell him, mind your business.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel like you've adapted to being a general manager? Because you were before that you were on commentary. Do you miss commentary, or have you sort of just grown into the general manager position and are feeling better about that?
I mean, I had a lot of fun on commentary, but I tell you, being on at the commentary table, it's a pressure cooker. I mean, you got to be ready every night. It's like being in a boxing match every week, and I give a lot of praise to Cole and JBL and those guys for being able to go out there and do it on a weekly basis. Myself, I miss it, but I love my spot as general manager as well. I'm an authority figure. I'm the guy. I'm the boss. Mm-hmm. It's good being the boss. I must say, it's a role that I never expected being in ever. But Teddy Long had 8 years as general manager, 2 terms. Man, it's time for me to get my 2 terms. Now my administration is going to come in and change the whole, the layout of the White House. Do something different. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying just being a part of WWE. I'm enjoying still being a part of the business. 23 years in December. I'm enjoying still having fun at what I do more than anything. Life is short. You only live once. Enjoy it while you can, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Very cool. What's the feeling that you get when you see like the younger audience come up and recognize you and say, "Oh, I'm such a big fan," without having extensive knowledge of your days of WCW or before that? What's the feeling knowing like you're still having an influence on the younger generation?
Yeah, that was always my goal, to be able to transition, from one stage to the next stage. I picked my son up from school, and he's 2.5 years old, and that's a little kid in school, and he goes, Booker T, and he knows my name. He watches me because his brother watches me on YouTube. Why, I don't know. But I'm still, having impacts in kids' lives. I still have such a young audience. Still know me, from being a commentator or from being general manager or just from watching me on YouTube, and still loving what I have brought to the game. They heard like old folk tales about Booker T, and then now they got to go and watch it on YouTube just to see if it's true. So that kind of stuff. It really makes me happy about the way I've took the next step of my career. I haven't got stuck in one season. I've still, to this day, I'm still evolving, to the next level. The next level is to, be totally behind the scenes, working with the guys, and just producing, directing, from that standpoint, and still being relevant just from a different perspective, and, I've had my time. It's been great. And, but, it's not about me. It's like the Temptations, Temptations, had their first big hit in 1965, and all of them are dead now, but the group is still going because it was never about one guy in the group, it was always about the group.
Still going. So, people are calling.
Still selling out.
Yeah. People are calling this year's Hall of Fame class one of, if not the best ever. And so I want to get your opinion on how does it feel to be inducted in the class with Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Mick Foley, even Trish Stratus.
Hey, don't forget Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald as well.
Hey, man, it feels great. For people to say that. I thought it was a great class. For me, it was an honor, a privilege, to be inducted in the same class with Bruno Sammartino, of course. A living legend. A guy who's done so much for the business. He was bigger than life. In his day, he was like a god. And people look up to him so much, even still now today. So as well as Bob Backlund, Mick Foley, all the guys that were, went into the Hall of Fame this year were very, very accomplished, as well as Trish Stratus, one of the greatest divas of all time. So the class was it was a great class for me to be a part of. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. It being in New York City and Madison Square Garden. That right there was a treat for me. Watching, Muhammad Ali, fight Madison Square Garden when I was a kid, never in a million years thinking I would be there, but being on the biggest stage, being the focal point, for that few minutes that I was on stage. It was a great night, and it was something, like I said, I wish I could do every year.
Yeah. How nervous were you before going out to give your speech?
I was pretty nervous, but I didn't. For some reason, I didn't fumble or anything, because, it was real for me. That was the first time the fans ever got a chance to see Booker T. Huffman ever on stage. That was the first time people ever got a chance to see the real me outside of, my act. Every time someone's seen me on television, it's always been an act. It's never been the real person. So that was the first time the fans ever got a chance to see me and feel me. From a different perspective, from a realistic perspective, and I think they now look at me in a whole different way as well, just from that one night and that one speech. Very
cool. And you are getting ready to go over to the UK. Are you getting excited about that trip?
No, I don't get excited about that kind of stuff. It's gonna be another trip, you don't be away from my kids, So
yeah,
I'm gonna go get to work then. I'm gonna go do the work like I always do. I'm gonna enjoy it. So that's what I do. So it's always been that way for me. It's never been the adventure. It's always been the job. It's always been taking care of the business. That's why I'm still here. That's why I'm still going strong. I never, got caught up at the party. Where they had to take me out and carry me out and that kind of stuff. It's never been that way for me. It's always been, take care of the business. And the business will take care of you. And like I say, 23 years later, I'm still here. I'm still going strong.
That's so cool to have a career last that long and still be able to, play with your kids and not have to worry about, lingering injuries or anything like that. It's just, it's really good to see, you'd be one of those success stories in wrestling. And for all the information, like I said, go to youtube.com/BookerTROW. Go to Twitter @BookerT5X. You can also find it at Facebook.com/BookerT Reality of Wrestling. And one I forgot earlier, you can go to Feed. That's PHEED.com/BookerT. And check out all the information on there. Booker, congratulations on becoming a Hall of Famer. We certainly do appreciate you coming on the show. And,
definitely. Like I say, all my fans out there, like I always say, it's not cliche. Without those guys, Booker T wouldn't be here doing what he's doing. I just appreciate all the support, over the years, all the signs, all of the, the just pushing for Booker T to be in a position. And man, still to this day, I still get, nothing but a lot of guys pushing me towards that light at the end of the tunnel. And I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate all you guys.
Very cool.
Thank you very much. We super appreciate your time.
All right, thank you guys.
And we'll hope to see you at the next ROW show. So,
definitely, I'll be there, bro.
All right, that sounds good. And
all right, man.
And we'll talk to you later.
All right, you guys are good, man. Later.
Have one. It's always nice to have Booker T come on the show.
Such a nice
He's the
guy.
man.
It's awesome. So good. Hopefully, we'll get to go out to the next ROW show, Reality of Wrestling, and
I think it's like May 11th.
something like that. So we'll have to see what we can do and head on out there and have some fun. Now we got some hot topics for you guys. Apparently, the WWE has been censoring, in a way, some fans who brought signs to Raw this past week. There was Raw's Generico and a Ring of Honor sign that they asked the fans to move seats to where their signs couldn't.
Raw is generic.
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on WWE asking people to move based on their signs? I mean, I know that's their company. You paid money to go there to see them. So you kind of have to abide by their rules. But does the freedom of speech hold any leverage to that? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I kind of roll my eyes at a lot of that stuff anyway. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care, but I would never do that. First of all, I've done signs in the past when I was younger. I'm at the point in my life where I don't want to have to hold any extra shit. I want to go and see the show. I don't want to tweet about it or hold up a sign or hold all my merch or I just want to go in there and be able to watch a show and leave. So I don't really even care. But at the same time, what is your logic for bringing a sign of another company or of to look cool or smart? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's fine.
I watch this company too.
Yeah, I mean, so do I, buddy. I don't care.
They just probably think it's funny.
I mean, I don't care.
Well,
I really don't care. I mean, it doesn't.
Like pee in her butt.
Pee in her butt. That's right. No, I'm glad you
if
still.
you don't know what that
I'm
is.
glad you still laugh about that.
There was a sign a few weeks ago that said pee in her butt.
Yeah. So, whatever. Fans can bring signs that say whatever they want, but I
don't know. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't even get it.
Who knows? But another hot topic we have for you is TNA is introducing ref cam for X Division matches. So apparently the
Did they
referees
say exactly how it's going to be? Is there something on their head or right on their, on their shirt?
I do not know.
In their crotch area?
No. Not going to be in their crotch area.
It's definitely going to be in their crotch area.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking.
It's going to be in the crotch area. So that way you can see whenever the wrestlers make that heel turn, they kick the ref in the balls. Not only do you see it from a whole new angle, but it's almost like
Bear's not right most of the time, but when he's right, you better acknowledge it. It's definitely going to be in the crotch area.
It's the crotch cam. The referee crotch cam, brought to you by Impact TNA Wrestling. So there you go. Time to go on into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. First question coming to us from Thomas. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son. Drop it low, son.
He said, there has been a lot of hype about Fandango and his theme. So in your opinion, who has the greatest entrance theme of all time? From a personal standpoint, I would have to go for The Game by Motorhead. P.S. How is the comic book pay-per-view card coming along, Doug?
American Dream is my favorite all-time entrance music.
Very cool.
Well, you guys can give your
Okay, Tyler. Favorite entrance theme?
I've said it's like a lot. Like
I know what it is. I know what it is. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Everyone comes to the greatest show. Gather all juggalos.
I hate the Insane Clown Posse, but I like that song.
I figured you would have gone with the final countdown, but shows what I know.
No, man, it's the oddities. I know.
The oddities song, man. Always have. Always will.
I'd probably have to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin just because, the glass shatters and it gets you pumped up. So, and now for the PS question, how's the comic book pay-per-view card coming along, Doug?
It's not coming good. And here is the reality of the situation. It's probably never going to get done.
Oh.
But I did give it a lot of thought. But Thomas, okay, well, people listen to me every week. They probably know I'm kind of a weird dude, but
have a sit down. Let's have a chat.
Yeah, well, I'm a very obsessive, very compulsive guy. So things like this can be very difficult for me because I like to put a lot of thought, and like you gave me a really wide open question. You wanted Marvel versus DC, a WrestleMania style card, and that was just too wide open for me. So, I went through a couple of different drafts. I had like different versions of the card, but I never could settle on anything I was happy with. And some of the things that gave me a lot of trouble were, first of all, like I wanted to do stuff that never happened before because there have been Marvel DC crossovers. You can read the X-Men Teen Titans stuff. You can read the Amalgaverse stuff. You can read the
Titans. Gotta check that out.
Yeah. You can read the Avengers JLA stuff. There are matchups that happen, so I didn't want to do any cliche matchups, stuff that people talk about all the time. I didn't want to do anything that, while they may have never happened, were stuff that's often talked about. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, let's do Wonder Woman versus Storm, because that's the first thing, like, anybody ever says. Like, if you're going to do a women's match, that's what people are going to say. I was going to say, like, all those cliche stuff. Let's do Captain America versus Batman. Like, why do you need me to say that kind of stuff? Because you can go read those stories that those crossovers happen.
Anywhere.
You can hear people talk about that for days on end on any fanboy message board. So the first rule I kind of set for myself was if it happened or if it's a hyped up thing that may have not happened but people talk about all the time, I'm not doing it. So that gave me a whole different card, right? Then I was like, well, if this is going to be my WrestleMania card, Marvel DC, I was like, it's going to reflect how I feel, my views of pro wrestling. And face and heel dynamics are really important to me. I talk about it a lot. So I was like, I'm only going to do Marvel good guys versus DC bad guys and DC good guys versus Marvel bad guys, which made it a little even harder because I also didn't want to book matches that where guys were totally outclassed. Like, I'm not going to put your street level guys versus your cosmic level guys, right? Like, that's an obvious mismatch. These dudes are outclassed. I'm not doing it.
Superman versus the Penguin.
Yeah, like, it's not happening, right? So that created it made it even harder, right? But then whenever I got down to that level to where I was like, well, I'm not going to mismatch anybody, then I felt like I had a lot of street level matchups because it was easier to pair guys that way. And then I was like, well, WrestleMania is supposed to be like, there's not enough name power, so I need some more big guys. So that I did like a different version of my card, right? And I just can never fucking settle on it because I obsess over this shit. And you gave me a question that was just perfectly, gave me too much to think about, right? So because of like, dude, Listen, I appreciate the question. It was a cool question. You know, you're one of our favorites. You're Bound for Uli series winner. I can't talk. So it's not that I don't want to give you an answer. It's just that I can't because I'm nuts. Right. And
his mental capacity has reached its maximum.
My brain overloads, dude. I am obsessive compulsive. I cannot help it. I tried to do this so many times. There's so many balled up pieces of paper from this in my apartment. You have no idea. I'll give you one match that I was happy with, and I can't remember which version of the card it was off of. The most match that I was okay with, and just to show you, I put a lot of thought in. I even had America the Beautiful singer and a musical performance. not real bands, like people who are musicians in comics. I had this.
Nice.
So I put a lot of thought into it, man. I promise you. You know,
did you have a ring announcer?
I had Dazzler singing America the Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I should do, and then I was even like, I should do one celebrity, but my celebrity would be like a real wrestler, but I would put him in with, I had a lot of shit going on that I was thinking about. The only match that survived all this card after rewrite after rewrite, after constraining myself with all these new rules that I kept putting on it to try to make sense of it all, because the question is so wide in scope, right? Probably the most happy match I came up with was a tag match, and I'll give you this, and hopefully that will
suffice.
Yeah, I've got Power Man and Iron Fist versus Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. That was going to be my tag title match. I hope that will suffice. Look, Thomas, I'm a crazy dude. I'm sorry. Let me give you, this is kind of like a impromptu DuckTales, but let me give you a glimpse into the life of why I'm such a crazy dude, right? Like, I have problems, man. I obsess compulsively. And so I got this game called over the weekend called Lego City Undercover. It's a cool game. If you have a Wii U, I'd recommend you pick it up. It's pretty much like Grand Theft Auto dialed down Lego style. Ooh. It's a sandbox game. It's pretty cool. But okay, so I watched the opening cutscene of this game, which is basically your cop is coming back to the city after, spoilers, I guess, after, you know, he had been kind of like kicked out, or he left because of something happened. I'm not gonna give too much away, but he's coming back. So I watch about a 5-minute like cutscene that opens up. And the first thing they do after you get off this boat coming into the city, they say, go into the cop car that's right there and then go to the police station. That's your first objective. But whenever I get out of the cop car, I don't know if you ever played a Lego game, but they have like the monetary stuff in a Lego game are studs. And they also have stuff that's made out of Lego blocks that you can break and collect the Lego blocks because you're going to need them to build shit later. So you've got your monetary system and your building blocks. Right. So whenever I get off the boat, my first objective is go to the car that is 20 feet ahead of me. But there are these studs everywhere, right? So I'm like, I'm going to need the studs for something, right? So I'm running around, and it's a sandbox game, so it's a big fucking city. So I'm like, let me get all these studs. Let me get all these Lego blocks. Because I'm going to fucking need them. I know I'm going to need them, right? I played a fucking video game before. I know I need this money to unlock shit, to buy shit. I know I need these Lego blocks to build shit.
3 hours later.
Hour and a half. This is a shoot, brother. A shoot. Hour and a half later, I haven't gone to my first objective. Because not only do you pick up the studs, but if you leave the area, it's a big fucking city, right? But if you leave the area and you're like, okay, I've done this far, I was like, I can get the rest of this later on this side. But I start coming back to the cop car, the motherfuckers repopulate, so I got to get them again. Because I'm fucking nuts. I can't help it. I see the studs. I got to pick them up. I see the stuff to break again. I got to break it again. So I've got like 500,000 studs before I ever go to my first fucking objective.
That's going to come in handy.
I can't help it. Thomas, I can't help it, dude. I'm so sorry.
You see what you've done to this man?
I can, if you want to kill me, then keep insisting on this card because I'm going to have a fucking aneurysm over it. But look, so I have to make like a mental, look, so I'm trying to play this game. I was like, okay, it's going to kill me, but I got to go to the police station to start this game because I don't even know what happens yet, right? So I make a mental contract with myself. I'm like, okay, you do this much of the storyline mission, and then you can go through this 6 blocks of the city and do everything. but then you'll make a mental note that you did everything in that level, and then you move on to the next 6 blocks, but you got to do a little story because, to keep the thing moving.
Progress.
But the fucked up thing about it is you can unlock different suits that give you different attributes. So there are stuff that you can do in all these little parts that you have to do some storyline, come back to it with a different costume, because when you get the crime suit, you can get a crowbar and get in different shit. So I'm having a fucking meltdown over all this stuff that I'm seeing that has a big lock thing on it that I haven't unlocked yet, but I know it's there, so I'm freaking the fuck out. So about 3 hours into this game, I had to put it down because I was going to have a meltdown because I couldn't do all the shit that I wanted to do because my mind works like I see all that stuff over there. I need to go do that stuff or I can't move on to the new stuff. So Thomas, I'm sorry. Look, if that is not a valid fucking excuse enough for you that I can't even play a video game without flipping out and having a meltdown, then I don't know what's a good enough excuse for you. It's just not going to get done, bro. I'm sorry. I tried.
Please never play Skyrim. That's all I have to say.
Oh.
You want to talk about losing your mind? Oh my God.
I can't be given so many options. I need some linear shit, you know?
There you go.
I like games that you give me so many options. I love that.
Lego, quit making repopulating shit in your games. Because it trails off, and it's like once you get these and like some pop over there, so they're like leading you. It's just, oh God, it drove me nuts.
Well, there you go. So thanks for the question. Next question coming to us from Jonathan Red Robin.
Yum.
Asking, why does it seem like every 3 months Kofi has to get a mid-card title? I would have to say he's over with the crowd. He's not... I wouldn't say he's main event material.
I think he's more than that boom boom guy.
He's not just that boom boom guy anymore. But no, I don't know. It's just they don't really have much else for him to do, I guess. So it's like, well, we got to keep you looking strong. So here's the U.S. title. Okay, that wore off for a while, and now here's the Intercontinental title.
Should turn him heel soon.
Possibly. I don't know. What about you, Doug?
I don't know. I'm having Lego City Undercover flashbacks over here.
As you know,
oh God, the blocks everywhere.
Red Robin, as you know, Kofi is not one of Doug's favorite superstars.
There you go. So, but thanks for the question. Next question coming to us from Primetime saying, hey guys, do you think Sheamus and Orton could make a tag team and dominate the division? Both have been on a cooler and their gimmicks coincide with each other. With the Great White Shark and the Viper, they dominate by land or sea. What do you guys think?
I sure hope not.
I'm gonna agree. Dominate the division. There's nothing really to dominate. So,
yeah.
I mean, they had a nice swirl for a while, for a few weeks, where it looked like the tag team division was coming back, and then it just fell apart. I see where you're coming from because they were, both former champions, nothing really to go with right now as far as title run.
Yeah.
So team them up. It seems the most logical, but I don't know. I'm not for it, I guess.
I don't know. Randy Orton will RKO anything around him
from out of nowhere,
even himself.
So yeah. So there you go. But thanks for the question, Prime Time. Final question coming to us from Joe, and this question is for Cousin Doug.
Whoa, we don't do that.
This question is for Doug, saying, just listen to the new podcast. Why the hate for the tweeners? The world isn't always black and white, so there is definite room for dynamic in between guys like newly crowned Ziggler and batshit insane Ryback. Thanks, and keep up the good work.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get back on the tracks. Thanks for this. Okay, first of all, I can get behind having a tweener, but their roster consists of about 6 tweeners, 7 tweeners, 8 at 12 tweeners. I don't know, because they don't have clearly defined faces and heels, which is a problem because it doesn't make any of them stand out because they're all the same. The reason I think it is important to have clearly defined faces and heels is because of the nature of pro wrestling, it is a weekly show, but unlike other weekly shows where you can develop a whole, you can use a whole episode to develop a character's motivations for why he may be doing shady things or the gray areas in his life. I mean, most guys get like an 8-minute max on TV every week, and 2 of that minutes maybe a promo and 6 of that minutes maybe a match. That's not a lot of time to develop a character, to develop character motivations, for giving you reasons for why guys act like a tweener. So instead of understanding the character's motivation, they just look completely irrational, like they're contradicting themselves constantly. They do some good stuff, they do some bad stuff. It doesn't add up because of the nature of pro wrestling. It can be done in comics, it can be done in video games, it can be done in movies, it can be done in TV, but you know, like, pro wrestling is a pretty specific beast. Like it works on a certain level, and you kind of gotta adhere to that. Plus, not everybody is Stone Cold Steve Austin that it just can pull that off, being a dickhead and stunning everybody who gets in a ring. Like, not everyone works on that level. It doesn't work for everybody.
Not everyone should do that.
Right. Plus, if everyone does it, then no one stands out anyway. And one thing that really bothers me about people who use the real world as not black and white, it's a gray argument. The thing that always bothers me about, and I'm not, you know, being a dickhead to you. I appreciate the question. If there was really a doomsday in the real world, you'd cheer your fucking ass off for Superman. If he was raping and pillaging and smashing up your town, you weren't going to be cheering for him because that's the real world. If there was a real life Joker, you'd be cheering your ass off for Batman. You wouldn't be like, it's cool, this guy's really real. He's a real person because he's fucking everything up.
Look at the way you use that flour to douse acid on those people. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, if people were doing fucked up things in real life, you would really, really be cheering on a hero, right?
Yeah.
That's what always kind of bugs me about that stuff. And even if it was like, maybe that's not as on the nose as what he's asking, because a tweener maybe does some good stuff, maybe does some bad stuff. Well, maybe you have like a privatized army who aren't necessarily bad guys, but they're getting paid to do fucked up stuff. You're going to cheer the good guys. Like, I get the real, and also wrestling isn't the real world. It's entertainment.
It's an escape from the real world.
Yeah, it is.
It's, I mean, I don't know. My mind is so off the tracks from the Lego game. I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure that I got my point across, but I hope that I did. Thank you for the question, though.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for all the questions. Submit your question. Go to our Facebook page, WNS Podcast. Also, our YouTube page, WNS Video. Make sure to subscribe on there. Check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com and WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
Also, we are on Twitter at WNS Podcast for the main site, WNS Source.
Really quickly, again, Lawson, I love you, man, but I'm sorry. I let you down or whatever.
Lego
I tried. Yeah, but check that game out. It's pretty fun if you can make yourself play it. But yeah, we're on tout at WNS Podcast.
And also big thanks again for Booker T for being a guest on our show. Always nice to be able to talk to him. So for the podcast crew, I'm Daniel Herron.
Tyler Abear.
I'm Doug.
And we will catch you all next week.
Bye.